Thank you. Hi, everyone. So 15 minutes is mine. Perfect. So let me mess the order. It's the larger one for everyone. So hi, I'm František from Make. For those of you who doesn't know what Make is, it's a product. It's an automation platform. It's basically canvas where our customers can do their automation. But I'm not part of the product team. I'm part of the engineering. I'm in Make for 8 months, something like that. I'm part of the developer productivity team, and my main responsibility is AI adoption within engineering. So whenever I say user, it's engineer. Whenever I say AI, it's towards Snake. It's not within the product. There are a lot of other people doing testing. Yeah, and I do basically I stopped coding when code was released, and still since then I just the theoretical programmer. So where we are, and later I will tell you how we get there. I give up to you to say whether these numbers are good or not, but at the moment, 70% of our all code base is, we call it like AI outward. It means that the most of the code was generated by agent without major human rewrite or assistance across all of the code base. Self-reported number 6.5 from last quarter is saved per week per engineer. That is self-report. That's important. We don't have any like breakthrough metrics I would share and say that I will trust this number. So this is the best we have. And more than 30% of engineers actively use AI. Is it a lot, or would you expect more, or what are you feeling? More than 30% would expect more.
Sorry, persons of what? What about repeat?
That's a great question. Well, this is a trick because that's just over the weekends. I will get into why. Before, how we get where we are. Make is part of the Solness. Solness is kind of good. Good. I don't know whether good, but big organization, the proper word. And there are a lot of restrictions and ID security and this kind of stuff. So year ago, we had Copilot, and there were some pilots of people who were allowed to touch some advanced tools like code, but they were rare, right? There wasn't many of those. It was you had to sign something that you read another paper that you follow the policy. It wasn't easy. In few months, 3 months, it's such a long time. We provide or enable anyone to request tools like Cursor or Cloud Code. We let engineers to choose, and these two are on the table. But not everybody use that. These days, AI means Copilot auto suggestions, right? That's what was there. And that's what we have. And then few months later, a new fiscal year for me, our leadership say, hey, the AI is the way to go, and we ask all of you to use AI. And we are don't afraid to put money on it. So we were kind of encouraged to use AI in our free time and for our personal projects. And since those days, there was not a single day when our token consumptions would hit zero, even weekends and this kind of stuff. And we sees that as an investment. It's kind of expensive investment, but we basically want to learn how this can be used. But at the very beginning, there was of course some skeptics, right? That people who think that AI is just a bullshit and it provides sort of slop and it will not help you. We had those as well. And then the first hackathon came. I heard that hackathons are just things to create a lot of projects that then are getting corrupted somewhere in repositories. I'm not saying that was the case, but for us, the first repository had clear guidance. Use AI first development, so the AI should do the code, you should just supervise it, and ship something to production within 1 day. That was the requirement, and everybody is required to share their project. We used it, it's a kind of good approach. We shared a video of what we did and shared it in Slack. So that was like not a presentation, but you basically shared what you did in that day inside channel. And before that, we gave people short introduction how to properly use AI for AI assisted development, because at these days in March, few months ago, there were people who, when using, for example, Claude Code, they were just prompting, right? Hi Claude, could you just make it better, or could you just write something? There are people who didn't use plan mode, and there were people who didn't do research and this kind of stuff. And the hackathon changed that. We basically forced people to use it properly, and they have results. And many skeptics must realize that actually this can bring value. I will touch it later. And for now, we try to enable anyone at Make to use AI and be able to participate in the code base. It's again, leadership push hard on everybody across the company to use AI. And we are playing with the remote agents and thinking about costs, because it starts to be a topic. Some numbers. This is the highest 1 month consumptions per one person at 3,000 USD a month. It's not even a developer. It's a product manager. Actually, this guy has quite advanced automation that helps him to triage ideas from Jira, create example type. So it's not waste money, but it's a lot. We ask, what are you doing? But these numbers are more interesting. Let's say the average. And what's even more interesting, do I freeze? It's a P50. This is a median. It's not so high. It's much lower than the 3,000, right? So even though some people sometimes get crazy, I also remember some intern that think that it's fun to have a lot of keychains running in the background, didn't realize how fast he burns tokens. It happened, he learned. The reality is not so big. And from the data, we see that the engineers with the most advanced skills and who are utilizing AI in the best way, are producing the best value, are not those with the highest consumptions. The people are around 700 to 1,000, and these are people who are regularly running several agents at the same time delivering something. So using AI doesn't mean that you have to burn a lot, but it means some skill. My personal opinion is that cost is a lot of skill issue, and if you are burning a lot, it means that because you can, as you can say, you just can because no one is pushing you. It makes issue case as well. We are not asking engineers to save money, so they are not saving money, right? They run the most advanced model and do anything there. Why not? But if you care, you can save actually quite a lot only using different approach, different models. Be smarter. By the way, we want to introduce some limits on AI consumptions, but first we want the AI observability, as was touched. Basically, the idea is we need engineers to see their consumption before we put some bar on top of their head. Now the wall is 3,000, so we get crazy over weekends. And this number I put there because there was just space for 3 counts, right? And I had to do. Through the data we had, this is the number of hours it is estimation, are going to save a year. It's a projection. If anything is not going to change, which is unlikely in this world. But it based on the numbers we have at the moment. But please don't take this number really seriously about it. We definitely are going to save something, but how much? What is important for our VP of engineering is this number. We want to deliver something to production in 2 weeks, median, from idea to production, which wasn't the case before AI. Now it is. We are delivering much more faster than we did before, and a quad cursor, it's probably obvious. So what worked? Developer productivity team I am part of turned into AI enablement team, which basically means there is one team responsible and owning the AI. So to go to person, somebody who is responsible for driving AI adoption in the company. Their ownership is important. We make AI tools available to everyone. We also maintain some shared repository of skills agents, some knowledge base. Basically, we are those who kind of try to understand what other the people doing and connect the knowledge between, because engineers are introverts and they don't talk to each other unless they are forced to. Before, I forgot to mention that, but before we were allowed or encouraged to use AI, there were like enthusiastic adapters, people who play with AI in their free time, and they were quite advanced users. This case there are, and what we did is that we just put these people together and encourage them to share their knowledge and share it to their teams and within. We had kind of issue because before AI was kind of forbidden by the security policies. Once it became allowed, people were still scared, right? Because recently it wasn't allowed. Now I will use it, but I will not tell anyone. So there were people in the same team having the same skills. I think we have like 150 engineers or 40 engineers and about like 170 skills to communicate with Jira, because for some reason intelligence tools are hard to use MCP directly. So the navigators are basically people sharing the knowledge across the company. And we also still have a Slack channel where we share this knowledge. But what turns out is that when advanced people shared what they find interesting, and the idea is to like improve the knowledge across the people, those who will try to start and know nothing yet can't follow what's there in the discussions, right? So this is something that we tried and it didn't really work. It was just the advanced people helping themselves, or we didn't need these advanced people to get even more advanced. We need like the not at all advanced people to improve. What also worked was the hardware for adoption. That the leadership was extremely clear that this is desired and we are going to spend time on that. We are okay to burn tokens just to learn and move for now. That will for sure change. I think it's kind of common. I kind of had proof to show how we use AI, like everybody at make, and it's part of our performance reviews. And also we are only hiring people who are okay with AI, and people who were not okay either change their mind or are not part of the May, because you don't want to be part of the company who is believing in something you are not believing. What is also important, in my opinion, is that one of the most AI literate users at May are managers and leaders, and they really lead by example, which is easier than you ask somebody else, for example, some skeptical user, to use AI. You are in better positions if you do something more with AI than just cheating about the weather. I mentioned hackathon. The first hackathon was a turning point for an AI adoption from our point of view. I already mentioned that we asked use AI for us to deliver something within a day, and there was 80 engineers participating and managers. Had 52 projects and 24 hit the production. Not always that date. It took few days to really deliver something and deploy something to production because of code reviews, design reviews, and this kind of stuff. But it happened, and for this, many skeptics who think that it's not like really useful, that was the turning point. Turning point is the word for them, because we gave them the tool, showed them how to, and then realized that they can really do something. The second hackathon, 2 months later or 3 months, was something like, hackathon, just normal day, right? We are using coding every day. Now we will do using AI during the during the day, same day. What's the difference? If first hackathon, that was the big wow. It was like something is going on, right? We have the AI hackathon. The second hackathon was like, yeah, okay, it's an engineering strategy, let's do that. But it was much more different because the people already know how to use AI, and it wasn't like a big deal for them. We also delivered quite a few of projects at 45, and but the mine was different, and I'm quite of a proponent of the first hackathon. I don't think that the second and the others are as important. Though the first one was the game changer, the other is just a hackathon. What helps is the restriction that do deliver it within a day and show what you did. I think it helped us not to create a big list of unfinished projects. Few learnings. First, learn AI before you use it. Second, better naming. Our issue was that engineer product, people, leadership use the word vibe coding. For vibe coding is just you use AI to do something and you don't care what's behind. That's the definition of vibe code. If you ask engineers to vibe code, they will push back because they don't want to vibe code. They want to be in charge. This tiny little thing to narrow will help us to with the AI adoption. With the resistance, if engineers are skeptics, just encourage them or challenge them to try it like seriously, because they don't. Usually, the problem was that they used to try AI ages ago. It was shit, and they think that it's still shit. So just encourage them to try it like at an engineer. For brownfields, you need some investment to make them ready for AI. I think it's obvious. And what do you learn today or do today or have skills for today that may not be useful tomorrow because time flies by, especially nowadays. Just get ready for it. Last, going fast with AI is really easy. It's not difficult to build stuff, learn it, and just keep it running. What is difficult is to make it sustainable and keep the pace and make sure that what we are doing has value. Because as again Jürgen mentioned, the issue is that people can do things because they can, they do that, but this doesn't mean that you are bringing value to customers. So even though creating code is easy, knowing what to do is still hard as it used to be before. And that's all from my side. I hope I was understandable, at least a little. And please ask me questions now or later.
So I think as you say that you have AI usage as part of performance reviews, it is specified on your review.
Yeah, you are expected to raise your AI bar, and that's a kind of individual. You are have a discussion with your manager, but basically it means that you are expect to use AI. I will be generate to optimize or improve your workflow. If you are an engineer, it means that you are expect to have some skills. If you hadn't had skills last time, you are supposed to have skills this time, and next time you'll be expected to have some agents that do something autonomously. If you are not engineer, if you are marketing people, you are expected to have also some workflows that do something for you. So it's what we measure is the diff from what you had before and what you have now and what you are going to have next time. That's the answer. There was it.
Yeah, so I glad to hear this review regarding polling hackathons because in my company learning it's the database days doesn't for the end of the year and we have integrate you and the others since the moment and we can see how every makeup on who bustle color because basically the foundation and shared knowledge, we can always save some costs, points, and hashes. And it enhances the adoptions and it helps us to do the AI needed use. So we like the direction actually saves like it was you learn how to use it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for those who may not heard. Did you hear everyone? Basically, it was challenging that the hackathon, the second one, wasn't so helpful because for you, you run 20 hackathons, right? And basically, every hackathon, as I understand, it stands on top of the previous hackathon. So cumulative, they bring a lot of value because you learn, and every other hackathon can be better than the previous one. Sorry, the knowledge gained through the hackathon.
So the AI needed these things because we are carrying the gain to knowledge.
Okay, the hackathon help you to share gain knowledge. Okay,
Same knowledge.
and that's the same in math. So that was the question. And my answer, we in our engineering strategy we are expected to run hackathon every quarter, I think, or every 3 months. But yeah, just two. And I just see big difference between the first one and the second one. That's also a huge difference. And I don't expect the other have such a big difference as the first and the second. That's my expectations. I have no data. Maybe in a year I will completely agree with you. Yeah, that's my observation from what we have so far. Thank you. Any more? Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere in your presentation, you mentioned that you have projected that maybe 40,176 hours release, which is approximately 21 FTE equivalent. And then at the end of the presentation, you mentioned that people who are AI resistant were found and let go. So my question is, did you find approximately 21 people?
I think in engineering there was far less people who left. I don't have the real number, but there were some people who left from engineering. I don't have exact reason whether they were resistant or not. It was definitely less than 20 people from engineering. And I got lost in the question. Sorry.
But the question was really about whether the performance gains did justify some staff reduction in Make, or whether you have found ways how not to measure their productivity, but actually delivery of the value, which is Cody mentioned in the end, and you justified kicking them.
Yeah, I see the question. Not sure I know the answer. Because I don't have like the data from, and also don't, I guess I said the number 40,000 something is like the third number in the code. You just multiply a reported time of savings, this number of weeks and months. In context of engineering, I would say that the people who left are just just a minor. There was much more people who were skeptic, and they kind of like changed their mind because they are still skeptic. Like they're not enthusiastic, but they use AI for where they find the value for that. So they are, for example, not like they're getting everything to AI. They're using AI to validate the ideas or to brainstorm or to debug something, for example, right? Am I answering?
Perfect.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, you mentioned 70,000 blind people were generated by 70%, right? It was generated by that.
70% of code is AI AI first. That I don't like naming, but the idea is that 70% of all the code base was primarily wrote by agents. It means that I read the plan, agents will do that, I will review it, and that's count to this 70%. So 30% was mostly manually written.
So I just wanted to ask how we measure it.
DX does, to be honest. DX.
You reply to that. Like they're measuring because it's called co-authored. As an author, if you're using like code, it can do this, that it's co-authored by the agent. So they are using like a Git stats basically for this.
We have a tool, enterprise grade tool. It's called DX, and it's connected to all the other tools, and it gives you these numbers. That's best we had. That's what thing we had.
Like there's some alternative. You can basically use machine learning. Some companies do this because if you are reading article, you can detect it's AI generated. So basically what they did, they trained the model, like a machine learning model the same way. So it can spot like how Claude Code with this anthropic model is creating code. So they are basically from this generating the number. Yeah. And it's not working for one-liners or two-liners.
Perfect. So we'll dive into it later on. So again, big applause for
Thank you.